And here we go. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ANC podcast with your host, Chili Willy, America's favorite homeboy. I'm everywhere. And tonight we have here, this is something unbelievable. We have ECW, the Dangerous Alliance. We have Bill Wiles, beautiful Billy Wiles. We have C.W. Anderson, the Enforcer, and we have the man himself, Lou E. Dangerously. And we're missing one person. We're missing Electra. So we have to find.
You're missing Eric Watts also.
We had to find. But also, I want to say.
No, we're not.
Also, I also want to say that
he's not here, but we ain't missing him.
I want to say that we're missing my co-host, Andrew Campbell. He's on another mission there, so we're missing him. But thank you guys for tuning into the ANC podcast, Unraveled, and check us out here on Facebook Live, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and I don't know where else, but wherever. Anyway, so let's get into it. So, right. Man, it's been years since I've seen you guys, man. It's been like 20 years, except for CW. I seen him maybe 2 years ago. And but Lou and Bill, man, it's been some years, man. I'm talking years, and I'm just glad and I'm thankful you guys came on, took the time out to come on to the ANC podcast and all that good shit. You know what I mean? So, of course, man. How you guys doing? Yeah, how you guys doing? How are you?
Doing great, man.
Bill, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Living here in Delaware, loving it, man. Okay, all right, Lou, you looking very
I'm great, man. I'm I don't know about corporate. But all is well. All is good in Vegas, and I've been in Vegas for 11 years.
Nice.
And it's good to see you guys, though. For real, it's been a minute. CW and I text a little bit, but Bill and Chili Willy, I haven't seen you guys since Chili since ECW, and I think Bill and I did some shows right after that. But that was it, man.
Wow.
So it's good to see you guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
Good. And CW, how you doing, man? Again, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Life is good. Here in North Carolina, I can't complain.
That's good. So like I said, folks, we're here with the Dangerous Alliance, and I want to get started with some questions. Well, I'm gonna start with you, Bill. First of all, how did you get started in pro wrestling? Who trained you?
I was trained at the Monster Factory by Larry Sharp. How I got into wrestling, I've told the story 1,000 times. I met Balls Mahoney, John Reckner, my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
He was going around. He wrestled for Manasquan High School. I wrestled for Brick High School. He introduced me to Chris Candido. He lived right near John, and we all kind of grew up together. They got me into it, and John brought me to the Monster Factory, trained by John, Larry, and that's how I got into pro wrestling.
Nice. Yeah, I tell the story, man. When I first got into wrestling, I was married. I was in Rochester, New York, and the first time I ever stepped foot in the ring was at the Monster Factory. I went out for a tryout one day, man, and I went down there, drove down there. I was so fucking nervous that I put on my singlet backwards. And
where was the Monster Factory at that time?
Paulsboro, New Jersey. Yes.
Okay.
And I think this was 1990. And I tell the story, man. I swear, I think Tatanka was there. Did he come out of? Okay.
Yes. So about that time, you had like Tatanka and all those guys. Like right before me, you had the Headbangers, Pitbulls,
okay.
Guys like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my first time, being in the Monster Factory, so all that good stuff. But yeah. So what about you, Lou? How did you get into wrestling, man, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I was a fan my entire life. Probably since I was like 7 or 8 years old. And then when I went to college, I started writing for like the school newspaper and stuff like that. And I started watching wrestling again because when I came home on like winter break one day, and I had been out of wrestling. Like I didn't watch it, anything, probably that was probably 93, 94. So, the products weren't great then.
Mm-hmm.
But I did turn on TV one night on Sports Channel Philadelphia, and it was a match between Terry Funk and Eddie Gilbert. It was a chain match.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit, like, what is this? So I watched, and there was like nobody in the arena. It was really weird. And then as I watched it, I found they were filming in Philadelphia. It was Eastern Championship Wrestling at the time. And I went down to the show, and the next day they were doing a show. And yeah, it was like nobody there. But I picked up a thing called the ECW Action Wire. It was a program. And there was a number and something on the back said, if you're interested in writing for the program, like call. So I called, and that was Gabe. And so I met Gabe through there, and then I started just writing for the program whenever I could. And then they needed a photographer, so I started taking ringside photos, which you can see me running around ringside all the time before I was actually on TV, getting in people's way and stuff like that. Yeah. And I became friends with Raven. What's that?
Right. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you said something. I became friends with Raven, and one day we were driving to Reading. I just would go on these like spot shows with him and stuff like that. And he asked me if I ever worked or was trained, and I was like, no. And so that was the end of that conversation. And the next arena show, I walked in, and somebody said, Raven needs to see you right away. So I go over to see him. He's like, congratulations, you've graduated. You're now Sign Guy Dudley. Because I had the long hair, and, Dudley and Big Dick Dudley and Dances with Dudley were all there. So that kind of started the path for Sign Guy. And then they had me taking bumps, and I never was trained like a lick, like nothing. And Dreamer like pulled me in the ring one night, gave me a DDT, hit me with the chair, and this was all a shoot. Like I didn't know what was happening. And from there, I went to their wrestling school, the House of Hardcore, with Taz and Perry and Bubba, and I would go there, like drive up like once a week or twice a week just to learn to take bumps and become a manager, and it went from there. Okay. Eventually Louis Drisley, and eventually at the same time I started being a promoter for him too. So
nice.
Interesting, man.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow. And CW, we know about you. You started in the Carolinas, but just refresh some of the people who just just tuning in.
Yeah, one of my friends got me into it because I didn't like pro wrestling growing up. My brother actually had me watch a match. July 5th of 1985. It's on YouTube. It's Rock and Roll Express versus Pressure Khrushchev and Uncle Ivan Koloff, to where the Rock and Roll Express took the belts from him, and I was kind of, so it just progressed. And once baseball fell through the wayside, I got into wrestling for a friend, and then progressed as being an Anderson, and then went to the power plant, and then one day took a ride with a friend of mine, Toad, to an ECW show down in Georgia, and Nova threw me in the ring. And then after that, Paul threw me back in the ring.
Nice.
And got my job that night, and just started randomly tagging unfortunately with Vito against Danny and Roadkill nightly, and hated it. And then one night, I don't think Vito was there, and Tommy looks at me and says, CWM, you and Bill tagged together. And when he threw us in the ring, man, it was like instant chemistry.
Right.
And then after that first night, I want to say that very first night, the Insane Clown Posse came and hung out with us. I think we were in Pittsburgh or somewhere. I'm not quite sure, but I remember them being
Pittsburgh.
But after that, man, it was like me and Bill were sitting beside each other like little kids, just waiting for him to put us together.
Well, we were in the workouts before the show. Yeah. We were, CW and I were still like, doing some tag stuff because we both had that same philosophy. We both, idolized and were influenced by a lot of the same people. We had a lot of the same philosophy. So during the workouts, we started doing some tag stuff together, tagging in and out, working the body part, doing things like that. Nova was the one that was like, man, you guys would be a great tag team. You guys would be a great team, and it kind of progressed from there. Nova pushed for us to be together, and we were already kind of like gelling together a little bit, having those ideas of, being a tag team before that night we were put together.
Now, Lou, was CW and Bill your first tag team that you managed?
Yeah, as Louis Dangerously, I was just doing like some rip-off Paul stuff, which was pretty funny. But I remember I believe CW and I had talked about it one night in Atlanta. We were at a bar.
Yeah, at the dungeon.
The dungeon. Yeah. And I just said, I have no idea why we're not all working together. And Tommy and I were obviously really tight. I mean, it was tight with all of us. So you had a kind of a forum, which you don't, I don't believe you have in wrestling today, where you can go up and have influence on what you're doing and actually see it get done. And then I mentioned this to Tommy about working with these guys, and it went really fast. And I believe we were in Alabama one night, I think, and I wasn't. They were having a match. I believe it was something with Mike Awesome. You guys were doing.
It was at the arena.
No, it wasn't at the arena because it
That
was.
wasn't-
No, it was like some house show, because I remember I
Okay.
was just like there, and Tommy grabbed me. He's like, "Go out with these guys. You know, you guys did a run in on Mike Awesome and somebody, and then Mike just beat the shit out of all of us."
Oh, you're right.
And that's
I forgot
that's
about
where
that.
it started.
I think the Mike
That's where it
Awesome thing was in like Peoria, because I remember when I got put through the table
Yeah.
by Mike, I had a big chunk of wood stuck in my back that had to be pulled out. And I remember that. I remember that. I think that was in Peoria.
Yeah, it was some like random show, and it was just like, at the time I was just doing promotional work, like to sell tickets and stuff, and he literally just grabbed me, like, and he said, "Run out with these guys, see what happens." So we did.
Okay. All right. Good shit.
And
It
it
worked.
went from there.
Yeah. You guys,
Because before that, we weren't even the Dangerous Alliance. We were just
Yeah.
kind of modeling ourselves as like Ole and Arn Anderson. You know, we had the jackets, like the Wrecking Crew and things like that. That's kind of how we were modeling ourselves.
So the ECW, I don't remember. Did they have a tag team championship? I can't remember. I'm quite sure they did.
Yeah.
Who were the tag team
Yeah.
champions? Who were the champions then? When you guys were tag
At that time,
Yeah.
Was it the
it was
Impact
probably
Players?
like, what's that? Yeah, I
Was it
gonna say
Impact
Lance
Players?
and Justin, probably. Because when the Dudleys left, it went to Raven and Dreamer, and I forget the chain after that. But you still had those two guys, and you had Danny and Roadkill. You had the FBI. Who did Nova tagged with Chetty?
Chetty, yeah.
So you had all these kind of like, they had the tag teams were awesome there.
Yeah,
4 or 5 really good teams.
Where do you guys think you ranked amongst the ECW tag champions or the tag team, not champions? Just where do you guys put yourself in that bracket? As the
I actually put us in a different bracket now than then, if that makes sense. And I'll tell you why. I watch Bill post some stuff recently, and I go on YouTube a lot and watch some of our matches, and our matches still hold up to anything. And I firmly believe that, from a storytelling standpoint to the finishes, which are super creative and like fun. And I don't think, me personally, in the moment at those times, I don't know if we all knew what we were creating, and it's just like, when you look, whenever I do interviews, I always compare ECW to Nirvana, the band, and say, like, we didn't know what impact ECW was having on wrestling now. And you look back 20, 25 years later, and it's like, people, they're still trying to duplicate it.
Right.
So where we rank there, I don't really know. There was a lot of different factors and things, but now when I look back on it, I would say really high.
Yeah, we were able to hang with anybody. You put us in there with Nova and Chetty, we can have that kind of match. You put us in there with Balls and Axel,
and Axel, yep.
We went 45 minutes in Lansing, Michigan, with a complete bloodbath. To open
opening the show. I still have that match.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That match was great because it started off as like some ha-ha stuff, traditional kind of ha-ha. And then it turned into a bloodbath, 4-way juice fest, and it came back, and we actually pulled off the hot tag to the finish. So it was a crazy match. And then the next night we can go out with like Nova and Chetty or the FBI and have those kind of matches. So I think we could have hung up with anybody. And
in the beginning, we were put together as a joke, and we were just like a parody of the Dangerous Alliance. And we slowly started getting over because of Lou managing us. Lou's heat, he could get on the mic. Bill and I's work rate of working Nova, Chetty, Danny, and Roadkill, Balls, and Axel going any night. They could put us with anybody. And we started getting over because we were having those intricate matches with those intricate go-homes. And we had such heat because Bill was a master of pissing people off in the crowd. And he was, and so many ribs we had. It was Bill pissing people off in the front row, Lou on the microphone, and I wish you could just wish we could have been mic'd up because the inner ribs we had and us keeping from laughing at each other was hilarious.
Wow.
There's a YouTube video of that four-way tag match from Kansas City.
Oh, I remember that.
We were the last minute. I remember, none of us were on the show, and Dreamer walked in the room, and we're like, "Hey, what are we doing?" He's like, "Oh, I forgot all about you. You're all working each other. You're on next."
Mm-hmm.
So we had no idea what order we're going to be eliminated in, who's going over. We just went out there and had a great time. And the fan cam, it's a fan cam that's on YouTube, catches all those us talking to each other and
I know exactly
fun of each other.
Nice.
It's a great video.
Yeah.
It really shows how much fun we had with each other.
The great thing with me and Bill real quick, and was we worked these guys so much, and then we would be first match, and normally we wouldn't be told till 5 or 10 minutes before the show started. And we had worked these guys so much, we had 3 or 4 different matches that we could pick and choose spots from and put it all together and make a whole new match. And it was something that we just did on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
And we could put a match together in 5 minutes. We were up, we were down, it didn't matter, but we'd go out there and have so much fun and have great matches.
Yeah.
All we had to do was say, "What are we working on?" We'll work the arm. Cool. See you out there.
Yeah.
Work the leg. See you out there. Work in the back. See you out there. And that was it.
Yeah. That actually leads into my next question. That's the thing with I think I see a lot with tag teams. It's the chemistry, and even with the manager, even having a manager and having the right timing. Because Lou, you got to be at the right spot at the right time to execute. You know what I mean?
I know what CW's laughing at. I know what he's laughing at.
So
I want to see if I'm right. I got to see if I'm right.
Go
I
ahead.
never missed my spot except for one night. And I missed pulling Nova's leg. And the next night, CW, we're at some house show and we're doing the same match. I pull the leg. CW yells out, "Lou, here comes your spot."
Loud as shit. Like 4 rows back.
We're like, what?
That's what
I remember it was actually a match with me and Chili. Lou was supposed to be somewhere. I was supposed to shoot you in, duck. Lou hooks the leg.
Right.
I'm setting you up. I'm like, all right, sell back to the rope. We'll go to that spot. I look back. Lou's there. As I put you in the rope to start shooting you off, I look and Lou's walking the other way. I'm like, oh, shit. So you come off, and we're both like looking at Lou. So I just clotheslined you, and I'm like, stay. And then we just went again.
Yeah.
I like to wander. On the ringside quite a lot.
But when you guys are, if you're watching or you go to other indie shows, are you seeing that chemistry that you think that they have, or they're trying to showcase? You know what I mean? Or they're just trying to get their spots in. Whatever. What do you see the difference between now and then?
Tag team wrestling it doesn't exist anymore, at least from what I see out here.
No.
They're just throwing people together and saying, "Oh, have a tag team match." I don't see tag team specialists anymore.
Okay.
It's the guys all have to get their shit in, and what made us so great was, one, we didn't have to get our shit in. Our job was to put Danny and Roadkill, Nova and Chetty over, and we got over by heating the shit out of them. And again, Lou on the mic, Bill causing controversy in the front row. That's how we got over. We didn't have to get all our shit in. That's the art of being a heel tag team, was we got over by getting heat with the crowd and then us getting beat in the end.
I don't watch enough to even give you I watched some stuff recently, but I don't see it's. And look, I never was a wrestler. I never was doing what you three guys did, but I can watch it and know. And it's not, you guys nailed it. It just seems like it's a spot fest from the opening, and everybody has a false finish of like 10, 2.5 counts, which when everybody's doing it, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's like
nobody sells.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like I watched something that I don't know, it was AEW or something recently. And guys were getting killed and then they pop back up and get killed again and pop back up. And with all the talent that's in those locker rooms right now, especially in AEW with like Tully and Arn and those guys, man, you could get so much help and learn psychology, which I think from what I see is pretty lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe it's because of the TV time you're thinking, or it's just that even though they may have like 5 or 6 minutes in a match, they still don't know how to manage that shit.
5 or 6 minutes is I'm gonna get all my shit in 5 or 6 minutes. You know, honestly, that's what I see.
Yeah.
You know, we Tommy would tell us, 7 to 9 minutes, and these guys would still pace. It wasn't like CW and Bill didn't have to do everything. I didn't have to have a spot every night. It just wasn't necessary. If it, it worked without having to get all your shit in. And I get, people are trying to get ratings or trying to make it action packed, but I believe, man, you could tell a story over a long time. And now it just seems things are just shotgunned real fast.
Right. In the art of being a manager.
Yeah.
How is that lost? I mean, drawing the heat. Because that's an art too, man. You just can't just go out there and just say I'm a manager of a tag team and expect to get heat.
Yeah.
You really got to know your shit. So how did you get out? How did you get that shit out there so that you can grab the heat and
I was lucky because when doing sign guy with the Dudleys for so many years was like you learn how to insert yourself in a match, when not to insert yourself into a match, when you're not distracting people by pounding on the mat and doing things like that. I also, when I was growing up and in wrestling, I always liked watching the managers, so it's just, you mimic that kind of stuff. And then you ask the guys, like, what do you want me to be doing here? I mean, the Dudleys were pretty clear about it. Like I knew what to do and when to do it. And with these guys, it was a little more free reign collectively between the three of us, because we were all in it together. Right away. And I think in this day and age, it's totally lost. I don't see it. I can't tell you any of the guys. It's no offense to them. I don't know if they're even doing it. And I think I think ECW was the last, first of all, I think it was the last kayfabe territory where it was like we didn't all go out together. I mean, we did sometimes, but it wasn't like broadcast everywhere that we were hanging out and we were in the ring with somebody. There was no social media, so things were really quiet. And it was the last place that you're throwing powder, handcuffing guys to the ring and, pulling the leg and climbing under the ring and doing all these things to create fun finishes. So,
yeah.
But to answer your question,
Lou was a master of, like he was saying, he didn't draw the heat away from us. He knew his timing, that when the double down was, that's when he starts beating. If we were doing spots, Lou didn't draw the attention. Hey, look at me. He knew to put it on us. And then when his stuff came up, we were slowed down. It's like we all played off of each other, and we got so good at it that most of the time we didn't even have to speak. It was just a look and a glance, and we had it.
Nice. Now, outside of being in the ring or whatever, you guys hung out? Did you guys have chemistry, or it was just once the show was over, you guys just separated, and then when you saw each other, you clicked? How was that?
I really didn't hang out much outside the ring with these guys, and it wasn't because I didn't like them or anything. It's just that I guess different. I had my thing, they had their thing. They went that way. I was still with the ring crew. They weren't, so they didn't have to stick around. They didn't have to wait.
Right.
They were gone, and then, my people, that I hung out with, not my people, but, the guys I hung out with were the ring crew guys, Danny Doring.
Of course.
And guys like that.
Yeah.
Chris Chetty, the guys that were stuck in the building until 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
No doubt.
These guys were already out, back at the hotel, at the bar or whatever thing.
It's funny though. Maybe it's not funny, but I was recently thinking about that for you and Danny and Roadkill and Spike and Mikey. I don't know how you guys did that, man. I really, I admire it. I don't know if I knew the value of it at the time. I never knocked it at the time, but looking back on it, the fact that you guys were there so early, worked a match, really good matches, and then had to stay, and then you had to drive all over the fucking world or United States in a ring truck. That's tough, man. I mean, it's looking back on it, it's like I have a lot of respect for that. Not that I didn't then, But
Right.
now, even like when you really look back on something, it's like, holy shit, that's actually a lot of work.
It was very tough and very hard. But I'll tell you what, it makes me a different person today.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like I go to work and I have people like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go home. It's like fuck you, bitch. I drove 36 hours, head up the rig.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Hell yeah. Kiss my ass.
You got a tummy ache. You're gonna go home. Get the fuck out of here.
Bill, I told Chili, man. I told Chili another good thing Chili ought to do with you guys is get all the ring crew guys together.
I've been saying that for so long.
I said that to Danny.
Yes.
Yeah. I said that to Danny.
Yeah.
The stories you guys could tell.
Oh
yeah.
My God, man.
And a lot of them we shouldn't.
Probably
CW roomed with and traveled with me and Jack for a couple of years. He may have some stories. I don't know if it was all that glamorous, Bill.
Talking about the shenanigans of ECW, man. We had some shenanigans. I mean, I came to ECW at the tail end, but man, still there was some damn shenanigans going on in ECW. I have never in my life witnessed that shit. You know, that's how I think that's how I got on. So, you know,
you did. I was with you when you did it. I was going to introduce you to it.
Yeah, there was some hardcore shenanigans that was going on ECW, man, and I loved it, man. But the chemistry in the locker room, I think CW, we talked about this before.
We got off that subject pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't want to incriminate no one, but the chemistry in the locker room, man, was like superb, man. I mean, we had levels, like Bill said. You know, the ring crew guys. When I got on the ring crew, it was the ring crew guys, and then it was sort of like Bill. You guys had your clique, and then you had guys like not Tommy Dreamer, but well, of course he was management, but you guys had like what's his name? Oh God, I can't think of his name. But anyway, you had the top tier guys, Jerry Lynn. You had Jerry
RVD.
Lynn, RVD, yeah, those guys, and then you had the drug guys, the guys that did their thing with the drugs. So I mean, how did you guys feel about things like that? I mean, what was some of the stories?
Well, I think everyone kind of intermingled. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think there was any segregation. Like the drug guys went that way. Drug guys, fucking everybody. But but you know, we all got along. We all intermingled. It's just that, you know, after the show was done, certain people had certain things to do. Other people's had other things to do, and that's kind of who you gravitated with. If you were at the bar, you know, before the show was over, and then watched us come in, they'd come in waves. You know, they'd come in. You know, these guys would come in, and then the promotion guys and all those guys, like, you know, they would come in, and then the ring crew guys would come in last.
Right.
But we all intermingled.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I never really. Me and CW. Go ahead, man. No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the one thing when I do interviews and I talk about the locker room, I said, you know, we were a family. Even though we went our separate ways at the end of the show, come ECW time, we were a family. We watched everybody's match. If me and Bill stole the show opening the show up, everybody was great for us. If damn Chili and Balls and Angel and them stole the show, hey, we were great. It didn't matter who stole the show that night. We were a family.
Right.
I don't see with today. I see us being that tight to where the stuff we did wouldn't get out like stuff gets out now. And we were a tight-lipped group.
Yeah. You know, and I was just going to add that is, you know, when I spent 4 years at WWE in the marketing department, but the first, 6 months there was for the new ECW. So I had been backstage at WWE shows, but not like on a continual basis. And I was always surprised about at that time how a lot of people, they would leave after their match because I just wasn't used to that. They wouldn't, like, very few guys would watch the monitor, and it just surprised me. And maybe that's how it always was. But I think CW nailed it. I mean, it didn't matter what part of the show, or even if you weren't even on the show, everybody was always trying to watch something. And, I think Bill nailed it too. It's like after the show, like no matter what, like clique you were in the locker room, it was still one group. It was after the show when things would go whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's me and CW. I mean, CW got ripped to death by me and Dreamer, and it was like that was one. But also, you know, Jack and I were promoters too, so we didn't really. I can't tell you like we were going to the bars every night. We'd usually go drive to the next town as soon as possible so we could do whatever we could. And CW was with us. Steve was with us. It was the four of us, right?
Franny and Tommy were with us as well.
Well, Tommy was like, there was 2 cars, and we'd all just kind of
2 cars, but it's just us. It was just us 4, and we didn't drink. We didn't really drink. I mean, it's like I was said before. If the red light on at Krispy Kreme came, we run your ass off the road to get one of them donuts. until Lou ruined it for us one morning.
I had nothing to do with a Krispy Kreme donut.
What the
Fort
fuck?
Lauderdale. Was that Fort Lauderdale? That was Fort Lauderdale or Poughkeepsie that happened. I forget, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn, you know, that's what
some things are left.
Right. Here's one of my great memories from us. My very first pay-per-view match was against Mikey Whipwreck, and Lou and Bill were seconding me, and we had a spot in the opening of the match where I was going to slap Mikey. He ducked, and I hit Bill. As we get ready to walk out, the most famous words Bill ever says, "Don't slap me in the ear." What did I do? Mikey ducks, and I waffle him right in the ear. And you see him maunder around the ring because he can't get his bearings straight. And he's in the way for the next spot. He's just like, he is so lost. I felt so bad. And he told me the next day that he had like all this ooze and shit coming out of his pillow.
Yeah.
Last word,
you ruptured my eardrum. Yeah. He ruptured my eardrum. Everything just goes, wah, and my equilibrium. So like everything's spinning around. I don't know what's up or down. I'm trying to feed for a spot. I don't know where I am. I fall down. And if you watch the video, actually, I'm on the outside, like holding my ear. CW cuts Mikey off, looks at me. I lean in. I'm like, "You're rupturing my eardrum." And you see CW's face go. I had to drive home from Birmingham, Alabama, with like blood and like this yellow liquid coming out of my ear.
Thanks, CW.
They actually had to cauterize my eardrum together.
But I love.
Look, I instantly thought about that last night. I worked this really young kid who was nervous, and I shot him off for a shoulder tackle. He didn't bump, and his head split the inside of my ear. I mean, split the shit out of it. And like blood started filling up on the inside. I said, okay, 20-some years, and I get karma for slapping Bill.
I was after I said that in the ring to you. I'm like, you're hitting me on my eardrum, asshole, or whatever. I said. That was whatever, you know, I'll get it fixed and we'll do it again tomorrow. Fuck it.
Wow. So I got
do you remember the Ducker story?
Oh my God, yeah. So Willie, this guy. So this guy comes to try to get a job at ECW, Ray Storm. Remember him, Willie?
Yeah, yes. That was in Virginia, right?
Yeah, he lives in
Danbury,
Virginia,
Connecticut.
Danbury, Connecticut. Tommy looks at me and goes, "Can you have a good match with him?" I thought he was talking to Marty Garner. I said, "Hell yeah, me and Marty have a good one." He's like, "No, I'm talking about that Ray Storm." I don't know. The finish was Lou was going to hit him in the back of the head with his phone. The whole night before, or the whole match while we're going over the match, how many times did he go over it, Bill? Like 20 to the point where y'all had to just walk away. They walked away from him because he kept going over the match.
Shit. Wow.
So anyway, the finish comes. Lou goes to hit him in the back of the phone, and he ducks like a fucking cat. He's like, like this. To where Lou has to end up smoking him with that damn old ass phone to the back.
I was like chasing him with the phone to get the spot. And so I was like,
whoop, whoop.
Wow. And then we get to the back, and he's like, he either said to me, did I duck or did you miss me? I'm like, oh.
I remember that guy, yeah.
We nicknamed him Ducker.
Ducker.
Yeah. What the fuck? So let me ask you guys, will there ever be, or do you ever think there would be any fans like the ECW fans?
Unless it's in the music business, it won't be in the wrestling business. Honestly, and the only reason I say that about music is because music still has that like small club build up kind of thing, and social media changed everything. But I personally don't see it. I mean, I know everybody thinks they have it. Yeah, I'm sorry. They just don't. To this day, you know, the amount of things that I get on like Facebook and stuff about people thanking me, which is really strange. Because again, I don't think it really didn't hit me actually, me personally, until like last December for some reason. You know, I was home for a couple of weeks. Well, I'm always home, but I was off at work for a couple of weeks and had some time, and I was just reading through like the Sign Guy Facebook stuff, and I was blown away. And then I start realizing, wow, the impact that we had on everybody was pretty, I was going to say extreme, was pretty significant, pretty significant. And I didn't really realize that until recently.
Nice.
I still get ECW chants every time I get in the ring.
Yeah.
I got them last night. I got them Thursday in Florida. I mean, 20 some years and they're still chanting ECW. Last year, Shane Douglas and George South and I had an I Quit match and Shane Douglas refed it. And as soon as Shane and I got in the ring together, because they started chanting ECW. It's
awesome.
Crazy how we have like a cult following. I think we're like the Rocky Horror Picture Show to an extent.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah, that is. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, what about I'm going to ask you guys about that night in WWE when they did the fake ECW. What did you guys think about that?
Which one? They did it a couple times. They did One Night Stand twice, and then
the one night. Okay,
actual...
I think it was the one with Blue Meanie had an issue with.
JBL, the One Night Stand. I was in. I was in the ring with that.
Yeah.
I was in the ring when that happened. I hated being a part. Me personally, and I'll let Bill.
Was that the first one? Was that the first one? I'm sorry. Was that the first one?
The first pay-per-view.
Okay.
Yeah, Shane Douglas ran some hardcore homecomings.
Okay.
But as far as the WWE thing, that was the One Night Stand, and my match got scrapped from me and Swinger working Danny and Roadkill to CW. You're working a dark match to Vince doesn't want you working a dark match because he thinks it'll kill the crowd at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which he has no idea. And then the Disney-fied version they ran when I was there for the 11 months. It was one of the worst experiences I had ever been part of because I didn't want to be there after Vince took it back over. So it wasn't ECW to me, and it never will be.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What about you, Bill?
Yeah. I mean, I totally been personally against any, once ECW ended, let it lie, trying to revive it, trying to bring it back, I never wanted any part of it. I don't believe it should have been tried or done. Let it lie. It is what it was. Yeah. Anything that you try to do now, I think is just really shitting on the memory or the legacy that it built and left.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that the WWE version of it was tough for sure. I was on a very different side of it.
Okay.
Because then I'm doing the routing, the marketing and everything. I'm not performing, which was fine because I was like transitioning, a career or whatnot, a different career. But it was hard. I remember being in the locker room a lot of times because I still knew all the guys, and it was just different. And you could see it right away, right away. It wasn't like it was remotely similar. It was right away. And then, as things kind of went along, it wasn't ECW at all. It was a good platform, I think, for some guys to be on their own show per se, because it wasn't Raw or SmackDown, but eventually it got combined into Raw and SmackDown. It was just, and I never did one of the homecoming shows ever. I never won.
Really?
I never ever won. And I never wanted to. I was asked, I just never wanted to because I kind of felt like Bill. I didn't want to go down that path anymore. For whatever reason, I just didn't feel like it was it. Because I know it wouldn't be the same because you have different people now taking it over, and it just, we had something completely different, and I knew it would be replicated. And I don't blame people who did the show. I think those shows, you got to get paid, you got to do that. But it just wasn't for me.
Right. Now I remember.
Now what would be cool now is when you get guys back together like this is cool.
Yes. I remember, like I said, I was on the tail end of ECW, but I remember when times were getting really, really tough with the pay. And I think we all talked about this, in our own little way, but I never got you guys' perspective of it. How did you feel during that time? Because morale was really low, man, when we were doing some shows, and people was really heated. So, how did you guys feel when we weren't getting paid? We were going all over the place, but the pay was, was shitty. Well, actually, my pay was good because I was only getting paid $75 for the ring crew and wrestling. So I was good. My pay didn't never change, but I'm quite sure you guys' pay changed.
Yeah, I went from money to zero.
Ooh.
So no,
Oh,
you know, no, but because we weren't getting we weren't getting paid. But and look, it's a long time ago. It is what it is. It's not going to change, and it doesn't.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Oh shit! Come on. Hello? Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing. Hello. Did I lose you guys? Hello. Hello. Come on.
Willing to like give it a. Gee, he's all the way off now.
I'm here now.
There he is.
I don't know what
Okay,
happened, man. I'm so sorry.
Man, you got to pay your bills.
No, you know the signal here is 1:38. It's 1:42 a.m. in the morning, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
You were saying,
No,
Luke?
I think, yeah, go ahead, Lou.
No, I was just gonna say to sum it up quick. Yes, we were not getting our checks, our money, whatever. We could get draws every night, which really became like a means to support yourself, getting $100, and that was what it was. But I will tell you, if you were there at that time, you were there by your own choice.
Yes.
And I showed up damn well knowing what was happening.
Yes.
And a lot of guys didn't. And a lot of guys didn't. And I don't blame anybody.
Right.
I just was, maybe I was drinking too much of the Kool-Aid where I felt it would work out and I'm just going to stick through it. But at the same time, I kind of knew it was ending because I was the guy doing the shows. And I knew at one point there were no more shows. I didn't know it was definitively ending though. I did not know that, but I knew there was some trouble and I was just trying to enjoy my time. If you watch some of the last matches like CW had with Spike and Jack, and we just screwed around the whole time and they were great matches, but we had,
the Alabama loop.
We all kind of knew. I think we all kind of knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what kept us showing up was each other. We weren't there for the money. We were there, to see our family. That's what we did. That's what I did for almost 4.5 years. Every weekend, that's where I was. So it was tough to let go of that. But I did know, you look at the booking sheet, and normally at the end of it, you would, near the end of your list, you would get a new list of all your new shows. Well, that list never came, and you're like, well, this is all we got. Like I didn't go to the last shows out there in Arkansas. After I was like, I just, that was the point where like I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I can't. Those shows were strange. I remember Poplar Bluff was the first one, and it was I do remember. Were you there, CW?
Yeah, I worked Jack both nights. We did the same.
That's right. We did the thing with Jack, and I couldn't do my promo one night because it was just upsetting. But I remember that one night in Poplar Bluff, it was like all the guys who were on the show went back to the hotel, and it wasn't like you just sat in the bar and drank. Everybody just kind of hung out. And it was just like, I have a very, like, that's when, some new guys had come in, but they were all cool. And it was like a scene from like Dazed and Confused, the movie, where everybody's just kind of hanging out. The next day we drove 300 some miles, and then we had our last show. And it was very surreal. I remember driving back to the hotel with CW and Jack. I was fucking upset, man, because it was done. It was just
we
done.
just kept saying we can't believe this is going to be it. This can't be it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
and I was
sucks.
like Bill and Lou, to where like when I would always go see my mom before I left, just to, as my little ritual. And I said, all right, Mom, I'm going to work. And she's like, you're not going to work. You're going to see your second family. And that's what it was every week. I knew the pay was sucked. I was drinking the Kool-Aid like everybody else that was there. And we still went out and busted our ass, even though we didn't get paid. And I did it for the fans, but I also did it for like these two guys right here, because I loved them, and we were going to go out there and kill it and have a good time. That was the point. We had a good time while we were doing it.
Right. So Blood and Guts was you guys' last tag match together when you guys did you worked Danny, Roadkill, I think Simon Diamond, and Johnny Swinger. Yeah.
Nice one.
That was the last time you guys were all together, pretty much as the Dangerous Alliance.
They kind of split us up without telling us, though.
Yeah.
it was weird how it went down. I missed a show one night in Chicago because I had my friend's wedding. It was like my best friend, and I think I managed CW. And CW worked somebody in Chicago in a singles match. I wasn't there. And then for me personally, all of a sudden, like, you know, CW, and no offense to anybody here, but it was like CW was having his own matches. Electra, I don't know where she was at the moment.
She was with
and
me.
I was getting put with
she went with
him. I was in a transition to eventually go with Chetty, and then Chetty left, and then it just kind of stopped. There is a last match, and I think it's on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't think any of us knew it was the last match.
Right.
It was in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and
a ballroom.
Right. So we filmed the promo where we got jumped in the stairwell, and CW just left me. So that was a promo we filmed after the show. So CW left me in the stairwell. Now the match was
you came up all taped up,
right? So the match
was
we were coming out, and I was just jumped. So I had this, you know, the Spirit of 76 and all the, you know, the juice. But my partner just left me in the stairwell, and here we are working a match together. We're tagging in and out. I mean, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
None of it.
Really?
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
And my biggest regret was if we were going to break us up and that was the way we were going to do it, awesome. Me and CW should have feuded each other.
Okay.
Break up, and we should have had that feud.
Weird.
And you know, like that, but it was funny part about that match was I had to go out looking like I was all beat up and everything.
I remember that.
So I'm downstairs. I'm downstairs in the mirror. Before we even go out, I got a razor blade. I'm cutting my head, and people are like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" I'm like, long story.
Get color treatment.
Yeah.
I mean, it stings bad enough getting color in a match, but having to do it just in the locker room with no sweat, nothing, no
adrenaline, no nothing. So I tell everybody, listen, I only got enough, so it looks like, you know, I got the Spirit of 76, and there's some blood. Don't pull the gauze off because it'll expose that it's just a little bit. I forget who it was, Swinger or somebody pulls it right off.
Pulls the gauze off.
So I powder out of the ring because now it's a free for all. Everyone's in there. I powder out of the ring, and so like no, but the cameras can't see me because it was TV. And Danny Doran comes over. I'm like, "Fuck it, open me up." And he goes, "Okay." And he's just pounded on my forehead. I'm like, again. There's a guy. I'm leaning on the guardrail. There's a fan there. And the fan's like, "What the fuck?" Because you just hear boom, 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 and finally I feel the warmth just start to flow. I go, "Cool, we got it." And the fan is like, "What the fuck is going on?" I look at the guy.
Can I tell one blood story? Can I tell one blood story?
Yeah.
I have to jump off because I'm going to go to a hockey game.
Yes.
But I'd like to do this again sometime. One quick blood story. Because Bill inspired it. When I was, after the Dangerous Alliance all stopped, I did a thing with Billy Corgan at Hammerstein Ballroom when he hit me with a guitar. Well, he sliced my head open. And I got color, but I didn't know my head was sliced open. So I'm out down at the ringside, and this guy's like giving me shit. Like, this guy, "You fat, blah, 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 blah. And there's blood everywhere. And you'll see it on the tape. You got to watch it. It's so funny. I had really long hair, now full of blood, and I did the old flip back and sprayed him. And he's just like,
"Oh my God."
That was my blood story. I gotta go, guys. So I gotta take my
thank you
to a hockey game. But
Lou, man. Yes, I really appreciate it, man. Before you go, give me a quick shout out to the ANC podcast, please. Just a 5-second shout out.
You are like a promo?
Yeah. Just hit it. You decide.
ANC podcast.
There you go.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Louis Dangerously, and I'm here with beautiful Billy Wiles, the Enforcer, C.W. Anderson, my Dangerous Alliance on ANC Podcast. How's that?
Thank you, brother.
That's fantastic.
Love you, man. Thank you very much, man. Definitely.
Hey,
I'll
Lou,
leave you guys with one more thing, and I'm going to jump off. Ask CW about the brownie. Bye.
C-Dub, what is the brownie, man? What is the brownie?
Tommy got hurt one night, supposedly, and it was the night I came in late. We were in Lansing, Michigan. Bill and I worked, I want to say it was 8C in Marquez. I came in first match. I flew in because it was snowing so bad. I went out there third match with Bill and Lou. We worked them. I come in the back, and as I'm changing, Tommy's working Carino. When Tommy comes in the back, he thinks he's messed his back up, and he's flipping out, and Franny's flipping out, and Carino's apologizing. And Tommy goes, I think I shit my pants. And they're like coming towards me, getting closer. And everybody knows I got a weak ass stomach. So I'm trying to hurry up and get my shit together so I can get out. And by that time, he says, Franny, I think you're going to have to dig in there and find it. She's like, oh, Tommy. And he reaches in and pulls out this big chunk that looks like a turd and takes a bite out of it. I'm gone. I'm throwing up like crazy. Lou had made this fake vomit and
Get
threw
the
up
fuck
beside
out
me.
of
I'm about to fucking throw up. But it was a brownie.
What
Lou had a
the
brownie.
fuck?
Tommy, yeah.
Wow.
The other thing I remember by that, Bill, I don't know if you remember, but they had the big gorilla black curtain. Well, Sandman goes up on that cherry picker and gets above the curtain when his music's playing. And as he's up there, Nova walks over and unplugs it. He's like 15 foot in the air with his music playing.
Damn. Wow, man.
Nova was a ribber, man. Nova was a good ribber.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get him on also, man. I gotta get Nova on for sure, man. But anyway, guys, I thank you guys.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hold up too much of your time, man. I really appreciate you guys coming on. And
You're welcome.
Beautiful Bill Wiles, man. I never said this to you, man, but I thank you so many times, man, for holding my hand in our matches, you know what I mean? Because
I had some good matches, man.
I was green as green shit. You, Johnny Swinger, Guido, Rodney Mack. I was in ECW, but I was just green as shit. And I was like, huh? But you really walked me through a lot of matches, man, and I really appreciate that. Like I told CW, I appreciate him for training me, getting me there. So I always want to try to give appreciation to those who helped me, get there, and so I really appreciate you, man.
It was my pleasure, man.
Definitely, man.
Absolutely.
And I thank you guys for coming on, man, and I hope we can do this again for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Bill, it was good seeing you, bro.
Yeah.
I love you,
You
man.
too, man.
But
man.
Before we go, Bill, where can people find you at? Are you on any social media platforms or?
Yeah, I actually started a YouTube vlog not too long ago. It's more of like a travel vlog. My wife and I are travel agents.
Nice.
It's just all about our travels right now with the pandemic. It kind of put us behind. It's called The Wild Side, WYLESSYDE. You can look me up on Facebook and also on YouTube. We're trying to put up a vlog once a week right now. With the pandemic, it's a little tough, but I got a cross country trip with my son coming up actually in about a week and a half. We spent 9 days driving across country. I'll be filming and documenting that.
Nice.
I'm actually coming back. I'm coming through Louisville, so I've already talked to Nova. I'm gonna spend some time with him and
that'd be good, man.
Yeah.
a little filming with him. Yeah.
Nice.
There's actually a vlog up there where I spent some time with Meanie up in Philly. Doing a little history of Philly and the arena and stuff like that. So pretty cool. The Wild Side. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Tell those guys I said hello. And what about you, C-Dub? Where can people find you at?
Everything's at ECW Anderson. Everything, all my social media.
Nice. Okay.
Simple enough.
Good shit, man. You guys give me a shout out. Give ANC podcast a shout out, man. Please.
All right, Bill.
Thanks for tuning in to the ANC podcast. Great to see you. This is beautiful Billy Wiles, CW Anderson. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, brother.
All right, I'll hit mine. Everybody, this is ECW Original, the Enforcer, CW Anderson, with my favorite tag partner, beautiful Billy Wiles. You're watching the ANC podcast, and the Dangerous Alliance is what we watch because we are the Dangerous Alliance.
Nice. Thank you guys, man. Love you guys, man.
You guys be safe,
man.
See y'all.
Yeah, you guys be safe.
Love you
And,
guys.
I'll let you guys know when this is up or whatever. I'll send you the link and everything.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
See you
Later.